You're out in a busy place, and in this case, I'm going to use an example of a mall. Someone starts to shoot everyone in sight, and in this case, for the example, you're going to be around the corner and down the hall from where this is happening. You're in a no guns allowed zone. So being a responsible citizen, you follow the rules and are not armed. This is the case of about 90% of these cases. Few people, even gun collectors that have 50 guns at home, rarely have a gun on them when this happens. And it's oftentimes because 90% of these cases happen in these no guns allowed zones. So more than likely this will happen where you're not armed. How can you survive? Well, the first step is to run. Now, I don't mean running with like a chicken with your head cut off. It's also good to know when those shots have been fired. The recordings that I've heard of gunshots fired inside of a building don't sound anything like a gunshot. They sound more like a book dropping or a basketball being bounced, because the gun sound is muffled so much. I've been in the military. I've been around all kinds of different guns, heard them indoors, outdoors, at shooting ranges, and I hear those recordings, and it's nothing like, I would never think of that as a gunshot. So you're looking for a high energy but short duration pop. It's not necessarily going to sound like a firecracker either. It's, like I said, it could sound like a basketball bouncing or a book dropping. It could sound like a bookcase falling over, possibly. But what really gets the attention there, that those are gunshots, is when you see people running, hear screaming that does not sound joyful, sounds terrified, big difference. People falling, blood, smoke, flashes from the muzzle. So the thing that you're going to first do on your run situation, once you realize what's going on, you need to stop. Don't just follow the herd. Don't just run any direction. Stop. Think about where you are. Think about what is happening and what it really looks like. Because so many times people will hear a shot and they think it's the opposite direction of where it was. They'll hear the echo of that. And they'll be thinking that they're running away from where it's happening, and they're running right into it. So you need to use all your senses. You need to look at what's going on and then think about where you're going to run to. Hopefully you get out and away. That's the goal. You want to be out and away if you can get there. Otherwise, if you can't get out and away, you're going to run to a spot where you can hide. So a spot that you can hide should also be, if possible, a defensible location. Now, once again, like I said, you don't have your gun. Possibly it's a no weapons zone, so you don't even have pepper spray. So this needs to be a spot that you can deal with hand-to-hand and improvised weapons only, if you're trained on any of those. Ideally, a spot that you hide can be defended. Now, in the case of my mall, the reason why I use that is because it's very difficult to hide in a mall. Everything's set up to be visible. It's how they sell everything. So that's where you're going to look for, probably, if you can't get to a restroom might work. Maybe in with merchandise. Maybe somebody will let you into their back room, but somewhere where you can totally get out of sight, and hopefully, if you can, shut and block any doors in the way. Once you've gotten anyone else who's not also running in there that you can, then you try to shut and block those doors. Even if there isn't a lock on the door here, you can oftentimes secure the door with the door closer, if you can clamp that together with a belt or tying a shirt around it, something like that, to hold those from opening, you can stop the entire door from opening. But you don't want to be directly behind the door. You want to be away from the sides of the door as well, just in case the shooter decides to shoot through those doors. So that's your hide situation. And then if it does come to a spot where you just can't hide, or you're found where you're hiding, then hopefully you have the ability to fight. But once again, that is a very low chance of success, because you're trying to take your bare hands to a gunfight, and more than likely you're only going to slow him down. So that is the reason why that is the last resort in that case to do. Thank you for watching.